Sure. Good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to you all. On behalf of the CHIP Foundation and in collaboration with Eco India, we are honored to host today's discussion on the tobacco connection and health effects of areca nut use. This is a critical yet often overlooked public health issue, especially in the context of India's youth and underserved populations. Today's session brings together experts and panelists to shed light on the science, the social context, and the urgent need for preventive action. Now, I would go ahead to introduce you to today's panelists. I'm pleased to welcome our esteemed speakers for today, Dr. Shekhar Grover and Dr. Sakshi Batra. Next slide, please. Our first panelist, Dr. Shekhar Grover, is an accomplished public health professional and dental expert, an alumnus of Maulana Azad Institute of Dental Sciences, New Delhi. Dr. Grover brings with him nearly 12 years of experience in teaching and research. He was honored as a Fellow of Royal Society for Public Health, London in 2021, and recognized as an emerging voice for global health for the Institute of Tropical Medicine, Belgium in 2022. With over 40 publications and contributions to several national and international funded projects. Dr. Grover's work spans across epidemiology, tobacco control, and cancer prevention. At CHIP Foundation, he currently serves as public health consultant, spearheading the organization's scientific and research institutes. We are delighted to have you with us today, Dr. Grover.
Hello, Dr. Bhavya. Hello, CHIP team.
Hello.
Well, good afternoon and thank you. Thank you for having me here. Well, most of the participants, I guess, already know me. Thank you.
Welcome, Dr. Grover. Moving on, I'm also happy to introduce our second panelist, Dr. Sakshi Batra, a passionate and accomplished professional in oral medicine and radiology, and a gold medalist from Banaras Hindu University. Dr. Sakshi was recently honored with the Best Dissertation Award, Dr. D.B. Gandhi Babu Award, by the Indian Academy of Oral Medicine and Radiology. She has also earned multiple Best Paper Presentation Awards at prestigious national conferences. Currently serving as public health consultant at CHIP Foundation, Dr. Sakshi is deeply committed to advancing oral health care through research, technology integration, and community outreach. Dr. Sakshi, we are thrilled to have you in today's discussion. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Bhavya. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, everyone.
Wonderful. So now we'll move on with today's panel discussion. Next slide, please. So my first question is to you, Dr. Grover. Now, in the Indian context, areca nut is often consumed in combination with tobacco. So according to you, how does this combination amplify health risks compared to using other substance alone?
Well, thank you for this question, Dr. Bhavya. Well, in the previous sessions, we have talked a lot about what exactly areca nut is, what are the constituents, what are the chemical constituents of this, and how exactly it comes down to our oral cavity and how it is absorbed and what else is actually there. Now, when we talk about combining areca nut with tobacco, see, both are classified as Group 1 carcinogens. Tobacco was classified way back in 2001 and areca nut was classified way back in 2003. So both are class 1 carcinogens. Now, when they are combined, taken together, when the common preparation that is used in India is the gutka. Okay, this gutka is the combination. Now, this synergistic combination basically increases the exposure to carcinogens. There are nitrosamines, there are alkaloids, there are so many products which are basically present in both the components, nitrosamines and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. So they have a synergistic effect, and that basically increases the cellular damage in the oral cavity. Okay.
Okay.
This cellular damage is not just the toxic effect of the compounds on the cell, but also leads to genotoxic and cytotoxic effects. Okay, so it is both damaging the cell as well as damaging the nuclear component of the cell.
Right.
Okay, so this increases this synergistic combination increases the genotoxic as well as the cytotoxic effects. Okay, now what are the main constituents that are involved in this? They are I'll tell you the name, N-nitrosuguacoline. That is one component. This is a carcinogenic nitrosamine. Now this is the N-nitroguacoline, suguacoline, and this is the main component which is involved in DNA damage.
Mm.
Okay, and this nitrosamines and others, as I've said, that polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. That compound is responsible for cellular damage.
Right.
That is why a combination leads to a increased or exacerbated cellular damage in the oral cavity, which further leads to dysplastic changes.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Shekhar, for explaining it to us in such simple terms as to
Although,
how.
just to clarify, there's
Yes.
absolutely no study in this world who would compare a single substance effect versus a double substance effect, because both of them are equally harmful.
All right. Okay. Thank you for making that clear to us, and also for making us understand how it causes both cellular damage and also genetic damage. Moving on to you, Dr. Sakshi. Second slide, please. So what do you think, Dr. Sakshi, what are the most visible health consequences of areca nut use, especially among adolescents and marginalized populations? Because we see a lot of adolescents also these days consuming areca nut.
Thank you, Dr. Bhav. It's a nice question. So, carrying with the most worrying trends that we are seeing, which involves the early and serious oral health issues among adolescents and the underprivileged communities. In young users, as we have seen in the early ages, even at 13 and 14 years, we are currently seeing that precancerous conditions like oral submucous fibrosis, causing mouth burning, difficulty in opening mouth like trismus, and trouble eating, which are the features of oral submucous fibrosis. Various mental and behavioral changes are also noted in these patients, like irritability, trouble in focusing, and decreased in concentration, and also early addiction symptoms.
All
These
right.
are seen among the young users. Moving on to the marginalized populations or the underprivileged communities, the problem is worsened by many key factors, as these populations have extreme get the products at very low cost. It is often sold at just 1 rupee pouches, and they also have very lack of knowledge, awareness, and they don't know much about the dangers, and are poor to access to have a poor access to the oral health care also. So all these key factors, along with the most concerning topic like aggressive marketing tactics, like flavored supari, are often attracting these young users. So the combination of both of these makes Areca nut use not just a public health concern, but as a social justice issue as well, in my
Absolutely.
perspective.
Absolutely, Dr. Sakshi. You rightly pointed out how, because of these marketing gimmicks that are there in front of us, people get drawn towards, especially the adolescent population. Anything you would like to add here, Dr. Grover, about how these marketing companies or how these advertisements, they are so attractive these days, that they really attract the adolescent population and don't, who might not understand the health risks of areca nut?
Yeah, companies will use any method that they can come across, using using celebrities, using social media, using anything, using smart packaging, using flavors, whatever they can use, whatever tactic they can use to actually make the person try once. Okay, that is the whole intent. Make the person try. एक बार लेके देखते हैं types.
Yes.
That is the entire thing. In my initial days when we were working at Maulana Azad, we encountered one person who was a patient. Then he said that he's being employed by the tobacco industry, and his sole job is to reach out to adolescents after school, and then ask them to try a cigarette for free.
Wow, that.
His sole job was to just reach out to adolescents after school and ask them to try a cigarette for free. That was his job. So, all these things like flavored supari, as this Dr. Sakshi has mentioned, and sweet supari and pass mouth freshener and all those things, all these are just mechanisms to make the person at least try once. So many of them get hooked over thereafter.
Thank you for sharing that, Dr. Shekhar. That indeed is extremely astonishing to know. Moving on to our third question. Next slide, please. So, Dr. Shekhar, how the tobacco industry has leveraged Areca nut as a vehicle for addiction, especially in non-smoking populations. Could you shed some light onto this?
Well, when we talk about addiction, we talk about psychoactive effects that
Right.
Areca nut creates in the psychoactive effects that Areca nut create are similar to what tobacco creates.
Okay.
Like calming mood, aversing the stress, okay, euphoria, all those things. Now, when this psychoactive effects are combined with nicotine, okay, what does nicotine does? Nicotine creates a feedback loop.
Right.
Nicotine creates a feedback loop. So the person, if combined with nicotine, the person will go back to having both of them again and again and again. So Areca nut is giving the psycho effect, and nicotine is giving the feedback loop. So when we talk about tobacco industry using Areca nut as a vehicle, and a very common example is the dual pouch problem in India.
Okay.
We have talked about this in the last 2 sessions as well. The dual pouch problem in India. In India, Areca nut or supari is not sold as a tobacco product. It is sold as a food product.
Right.
So it doesn't comes under COTPA guidelines, COTPA Act. It comes under FSSAI Act.
Oh, okay.
Then that means that the mandatory requirement by the FSSAI has to be portrayed on the packet, and that's it. Okay, that is what they need to show. That is why they write on their packet to lure the customers 100% veg. So what does veg non-veg has to do with supari? I don't know.
Absolutely. Yes.
100% veg, 0% tobacco. Okay, so they write it like that, so that person thinks that it is safe. Now I was talking about the dual pouch use. When the person is getting hooked to supari because it has some mild psychoactive effects on the body, and the person is hooked to supari, then the dual pouch, the person then gets into the feedback loop of if nicotine is exposed, then that dual pouch use comes into picture, wherein 2 pouches are sold separately, but they are kind of joined to each other, but they are separate pouches.
Okay.
One pouch is raw tobacco and one pouch is Areca nut.
Okay.
The smaller pouch of the smaller pouch of tobacco is mixed with the bigger pouch of Areca nut, and then that is shaken by the consumer, and that becomes gutka.
All right.
Although gutka is banned in 29 states of India.
Okay.
Still, this method is preparing gutka, and the consumer itself is preparing gutka. Okay, so we cannot go and implement your policy at the individual level when a double pouch. This is kind of like a loop that the tobacco industry is taking. When we talk about non-smoking populations and vulnerable populations, even Dr. Mehrotra sir has a paper published back in 2020. Now these non-smoking populations, they are being informed that this is something which is extremely safe as compared to what you are smoking. You go into restaurants, you go into a cinema hall, all you see are advertisements of people who have died by smoking.
Right. Absolutely. Yes, we do see that.
What exactly is anybody talking about smokeless tobacco?
Smokeless tobacco. Absolutely.
Right? Smoking is banned. You cannot
Mm-hmm.
smoke in a public transport, but you can chew it. Why?
Mm-hmm.
To tell you some facts, Nepal is the only country in the world who has
Mm-hmm.
banned smokeless tobacco as well in
Oh, okay.
public places. India has not.
Right.
Okay, so there are so that is why, since it is publicly allowed, that is why tobacco industry is taking Areca nut as a vehicle. Start with Areca nut, get into the nicotine loop, and then you can switch on to routine gutka and khani use.
Hmm. Right. Thank you, Dr. Shekhar, for enlightening us about this. And truly, we were not aware of how these two pouch system works, and also about the stringent laws in Nepal. And hopefully, we can bring these restrictions soon in India as well. You and I and other people who joined us today for today's discussion. Hopefully, we can in future reach out to these policymakers and make them understand how dangerous it is to our health. Moving on to our next question. Next slide, please. So, Dr. Sakshi, can you detail the pathogenesis of OPMDs in the oral cavity that arises from habitual use of areca nut with tobacco? And if you could explain what OPMDs is also briefly to the audience.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Bhavya. Moving with the basically the pathological cascade or what OPMDs are, uh, I want to start with basically what happens in the mouth with tobacco or areca nut use. As OPMDs is a elaborated term, it not only includes the conditions related to tobacco areca nut use, but basically focusing on both these components. Like we know that areca nut, commonly known as supari, contains ereculin. So,
Yes.
considering the pathogenesis, this is a most common searched component in areca nut. Ereculin is a chemical that makes the mouth stiff, basically acting on the connective tissue of oral cavity, which makes the mouth stiff and tight, which is most commonly known as a condition called oral submucous fibrosis, where in initial stages patient have burning mouth, ulcerations in the oral cavity, and with time changes to stiffness in the mouth, and patient is not even able to open his mouth properly. Then going to the tobacco part, I want to put focus on the chemicals like nicotine and nitrosamines, which along with the psychological effects, they also damages the cells in the mouth. Like they start changing in a bad way, which to pathological terms we can conclude the term like dysplasias. They also create new blood vessels, and which is a step forward towards the cancer. Along with these chemicals like ereculin, nicotine, nitrosamines, constant irritation and chewing of these products causes injury inside the mouth over and over again, due to which the lining becomes thin. They can develop white patches, which are very early warning signs. And this concludes to the white patches also in technological term, we can say to leukoplakia. So, considering OSMF, leukoplakia, these are all interrelated and are related to the chemicals as well as other multifactorial components. Along with these components, there are various reactive oxygen species which causes chronic inflammations and tissue damage, leading to fibrosis, dysplasia. Along with it, immune suppressions in have also shown that the abnormal cells persist, and progresses. So the synergistic effects of all these changes increases the risk of OPMDs as well as oral cancer through a multi-step process, initiation, promotion, and we can say to progression. So all these things, when a doctor sees under a microscope, these cells look like abnormal or are not arranged in layers. These are too much hard tissue, which pathological terms we say as fibrosis. More blood
Right.
vessels are there. So these all conditions are a clue that cancer might develop. So concluding all these points, considering chemicals involved and multifactorial things, in a bottom line, I would like to say that the long-term use of tobacco, areca nut, can damage the mouth by step-by-step process from white patch to stiffness and ultimately to cancer. So this all is essential, and hence early detection and quitting habits can save lives.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you very
Sakshi,
much.
for pointing that out. And you beautifully described to us in very simple terms how this affects connective tissues, leads to fibrosis, leukoplakia, and also affects our overall immunity, which is also why it's precancerous, and it could also lead to other cancers as well. Of course, mouth cancer is one of them. Um, Moving on, now we'll open the floor to an open discussion where we'll have questions to both the participants. So we'll move to the next question, please. Dr. Shekhar, with areca nut often sold in processed and attractively packaged formats with tobacco, and we've also talked about this before. We'll just now focus on regulations. So, how can regulations keep pace with these rapidly evolving products? Because these marketing companies, for sure, they are moving at a really rapid pace to make their advertisements as attractive as possible, or their product as attractive as possible for all age groups. But how can regulations keep pace with these rapidly evolving products? If you could share some light on that.
Well, regulations can come into picture only when Areca nut Areca nut is included under COTPA. That's the first step, because it is already not a part of COTPA. Yeah, we have seen how COTPA has been successful. The tobacco consumption has come down in the last few years. People are being more aware about tobacco. So if Areca nut is also treated the same way, given the similar regulations, graphic warnings, plain packaging, warning signs, so selling above 18 years, all those things, no direct advertisement. So if Areca nut is given the similar kind of stringent regulations that under the COTPA, it is obviously it is bound to come down, Now FSSAI laws bans food products containing nicotine. Areca is not nicotine.
Yes.
Okay, FSCI say, I think that's it's law number 2.3 or 2.4, I don't remember. 2.3 or 2.4, that's one law under FSCI that bans food containing nicotine. Now, using this loophole, industry takes up the advantage and does entire array of surrogate advertising that they can do. Rajnigandha pan masala. That Vimal pan masala. They don't advertise Vimal gutka or Vimal, because that is banned.
Yes, right.
Sale and purchase of gutka is banned. Sale and purchase of is banned. Okay. So all they do is surrogate advertisement promoting the brand name. Okay, because it doesn't come under COTPA. So the first and foremost, in fact, there had been many discussions as well that Areca nut should be a part of COTPA. Whenever this discussion happens, the farmers lobby come into picture, and that farmers lobby is backed up by the tobacco industry.
Okay, I see.
So Areca nut farming is not a very financially viable farming, because it is basically a wild crop. It's basically a coastal wild crop. Okay. Areca nut farming is not a very economic and reward giving farming. But
Okay.
that farming lobby is being head by tobacco industry, and that farming
Mm.
lobby comes into picture, and they always say that where will we go if you put so many regulations on our product, nobody will buy our product. Where will we go?
Right. Right.
That is the whole story that is always there. So if we solve this, if we transform Areca nut from FSSAI to COTPA, the problem will be solved.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So many things will be controlled by that way. Surrogate advertisement will be controlled by that way. Selling to adolescents will be controlled by that way. Uh, uh, even there had been talks that we can probably increase the age of selling as well. Sri Lanka says, rule by Sri Lanka says that they can sell their tobacco and Areca nut products only after the age of 21. India has 18 years.
Okay.
Okay, so there are many things that can be improved later on if that transfer is there.
Right.
Taxation is that we can FSSAI food products have different level of taxation. We all hear about GSTs, caramel popcorn, namkeen popcorn. We all hear about that, na? So
Mm.
the raw products have a very low GST. If we make them under commercially available sin products, then the GST goes to 28%. So that is there. So that is one big step that is required in controlling the Areca nut use, which the tobacco industry is using as a front. The same tobacco industry is using e-cigarette as a front in Western countries, from asking people to try e-cigarettes, and then later on, obviously, they will switch on to conventional smoking. E-cigarette is
Mm.
banned in India. The only way left for these companies to expose Indians is to promote Areca nut.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Shekhar. A lot of points were discussed, and how you also mentioned Areca nut should be part of Corpa instead of FSSAI, but you also mentioned that how the farmers are also against this because that's their only sole way of earning their living. So I think we have to make sure that the government also looks after the farmers as to how they can do something else and take care of them in that regard. Dr. Sakshi, anything you would like to add to this about regulations or anything else?
Dr. Shekhar has very well explained the stronger points which needs to be incorporated, like CORPA, FSSAI, all the things. So this is a very important concern topic to keep up with this fast changingly attractively packaged products. And we require a stronger regulation. So
Absolutely.
we first of all, any coconut product mixed with tobacco and flavoring should be brought under the same strict laws as tobacco.
Mm.
So, graphic health warnings, there should be, I would I would like to add that whatever the warnings we are provided, and the unattractive packaging should be there. Like on the packets, there should not be attractive things. There should be packaging showing graphic health warnings. So, with
Mm.
no flashy designs and all. And most importantly, I would also like to add that we should ban sales near schools. As we have already
Right.
discussed earlier that mostly the younger age groups are attracted towards these, as Dr. Shekhar has mentioned. One of a case that specifically a person is assigned for selling and attracting these children and students. So making sure that shops are not selling to lesser age groups and all the checks should be maintained. So yes, the steps are crucial to protect our youth from being targeted by these harmful products. That's
Right.
all.
In cigarette packets, also, I think it's mandatory that some portion of the packet should have a health warning and a graphic
Yeah.
that is shown where a diseased lung is shown. So, something related to that, where a picture of oral cancer or a mouth of oral cancer can be put there on the packet of areca nut and other.
Like flavoring things are there, they should not be attractive. Basic graphic design, that would be a first step we can take. Banning near the schools, we can take as a basic steps. If are combined, that can lead to a have a great impact later on.
Absolutely. It will certainly decrease the number of people who are consuming that, and especially adolescent and children as well, if it is banned in areas around the school and college areas. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move forward now. Thank you for that. Moving on to the next question. So, Dr. Grover, what kind of research and surveillance do we need to understand to understand the combined impact of both tobacco and areca nut, especially in vulnerable groups?
Well, if we talk about research, a lot of research, again, we have discussed this component in every session, I suppose.
Right.
What exactly is the kind of research that we intend to do? And I have, tried to motivate all the participants that are listening here to take up some research on Areca nut, take up something, give some evidence, because a lot of evidence is still pending. Okay, just by classifying as a class 1 carcinogen by IARC, the story doesn't end here. Okay, we don't really know the pattern of consumption. We don't really know the vulnerable groups. Who are the vulnerable groups? Do we always regard lower socioeconomic strata or women or any adolescent as a vulnerable group? No, not exactly. Whom exactly are these advertisements targeted to? So, we need to understand what exactly is the impact that is being generated by this pan masala consumption. So obviously, we need some large scale studies. That is for sure. We need some large scale. We can take up some cohort studies. I remember when even Anshika was with us in NSCPR at that time. We did a study which actually took into account a 16-year-old follow-up study. Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
A 16-year-old follow-up study. Previous generation has did some studies, and then they had some tobacco cessation interventions, and then when we were employed over there, we were asked to take and do the follow-up. So that 16-year follow-up study published some great results, published some very important results, and that is there in Translational Research in Oral Oncology, एक journal है, उसमें published है. You can search it out. So obviously, large scale and some prospective cohort studies need to be undertaken. The basic problem with Areca nut use is OSMF, oral mucous fibrosis. Everybody knows about that. But what
Okay.
exactly is the pattern of generation of OSMF? Is the OSMF coming very early? Is the OSMF coming after a larger exposure, a longer exposure? What exactly is the pattern of? We all know that it is genotoxic, it is cytotoxic, it is creating dysplasia, it is creating that, it is this and that. But what impact of OSMF is actually attributed to Areca nut use? We don't know.
Right.
Okay. So we need large scale study, and we need some prospective studies. That is what I would say
Yes.
is the need of the hour.
Yes, absolutely.
Consumption pattern, prevalence, usage, those are being discussed. Even that is included in the GATT survey also, indirectly.
Oh, okay.
But we need the impact of this consumption on the population. What exactly is this doing?
Right. Thank you. Thank you for that, Dr. Shekhar. Dr. Sakshi, you'd like to add something?
Yeah, Sir has rightly mentioned that long-term cohort studies are essential for this, and also to deepen the understanding of combined impact of tobacco and Areca nut. India also needs biomarker researches along with the mental health studies. Like media surveillance can also play a role of ads and promotions. Various parts can be separately considered. Health system audits be there for these group of patients, or we can say who are consuming tobacco. Recently, like mobile based reporting tools are there which can capture real time usage. So along the long term cohorts study, what type of studies we can consider and it can come into role are these, like mobile-based report tools, like mental health studies, and specifically the biomarker research are coming into play for early detection and dual use of areca nut and tobacco.
Right, rightly pointed out. And I think the we are trying to spread a lot of information to our cohort and to all everyone present today about Areca nut and how it affects health. But at the same time, if these sessions can also inspire the young population or the future public health professionals to take up these studies or to do research in Areca nut, it will be extremely useful for each one of us. And of course, it will impact the future generations because research shows that research always
We'll
helps.
start today these studies. In long term, we can have good impact for this.
Absolutely rightly pointed out, Dr. Sakshi.
I do have something to add here.
Yes, please.
In when we talk about tobacco use, there is a term called as pack years.
Yes.
Years. Okay.
Yes.
That is multiplying the number of cigarettes per day use with the number of years that the person has used.
Yep.
If a person has smoked 5 cigarettes a day since last 10 years, then 5 multiplied by 10, 50. Okay, so 50 is the pack year. So that 50 pack years gives the level of exposure of tobacco in a person, right?
Right.
Why can't we have betel years? In
Yes.
fact, there was a study last year published by some authors in Chennai. There was a study published last year who used this term betel years.
Okay.
Okay. They had some mathematical concept on how exactly are we going to calculate because we can't just always calculate with the pouch. Some people are eating raw, some people are eating processed, some people are
Right.
eating commercials. They had
Yes.
some mathematical formula on how can we calculate betel years. Using that betel years, can't we just figure out the exposure level of an individual? Okay.
Right.
So like this, we can work out and generate some evidence on how exactly we can measure the impact of this problem in India.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's a wonderful idea, Dr. Shekhar, and surely we should be discussing this more as well. Thank you for pointing that out and sharing with all of us. I wasn't aware about how there is a study that is done on betel years. And to all of us listening today, I hope it inspires you to take this up in future as well. Moving forward to our next question. Next slide, please. So, what do you think? We'll start with you, Dr. Sakshi. What should be the top 3 public health priorities to address the dual threat of areca nut and tobacco use, according to you? Anything that comes at the top of your mind would be the public health priorities that we need to address.
So, considering the top 3, or there are many priorities we should consider. If according to me you will ask, then I believe our top 3 public health priorities should include areca nut in India's tobacco control program. So it gets the same attention and regulation as tobacco. Run stronger awareness campaigns, especially for the youths, younger generations, showing dangers of flavored supari, gutka, etc. One more point I would like to include that should uh, stop indirect advertisement and
Right.
misleading packaging that
Yes.
makes these harmful products safe, or like it's too cool to use and all. So these 3 things should be given more importance, although they are much more. But these steps can help protect our younger population and reduce the long-term health damages these products are causing.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, Dr. Sakshi. Same question to you, Dr. Shekhar. For you, what do you think would be the top 3 priorities to address right now?
Well, if it is included under CODPA, half of the problem is solved. rightly
Yes.
said by Dr. Sakshi. If it is included as a tobacco product, considered similar to a tobacco product, half of the problem is solved,
The
right?
main problem is that only.
Yeah. Second thing, let's target the masses. How can we target the masses? Do we have
Yes.
a toll-free number? We have it. We have a national quit line
Mm-hmm.
for tobacco use. Why can't we have a national quit line for Areca nut use?
Yes.
Okay, or maybe we can include the Areca nut component as well in the existing quit line and promote it that way. Okay. So, talking about quit line, if we are talking about quit line, can't we generalize this Areca nut use as similar to what if a person is chewing pan masala, he's regarded as the same way as a tobacco chewer only. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
can't we have cessation clinics for Areca nut?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so in fact, in this, I would say that there is an intervention trial which is called as a
Okay.
Nut intervention trial. Beta nut intervention trial. This is kind of like a cessation, ongoing prospective cessation trial initiated in the US. He has a few publications on it as well. So that Bennett is something which is targeted and customized solely on Areca nut use. Sorry, solely on cessating patients who are hooked onto Areca nut. Okay, so there should be some intervention. There should be some cessation intervention initiatives in India as well for this. Okay, that is the second thing. And yes, again, if we talk about anything else, we can talk about crop substitution.
Right.
Okay, crop substitution can be taken up because the agricultural lobby is the one who is pondering on this. So we can
Mm-hmm.
talk about crop substitution, subsidies, and all those things.
Yes.
So if FSSAI converts Areca nut under CODPA, half of the problem is solved. And then other things can be taken up subsequently. Cessation can
Right.
be taken up subsequently. Because after CODPA is there for controlling Areca nut, now then the people will know that this is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Then how to solve the problem? Cessation will solve the problem. Crop substitution will solve the problem. Awareness will solve the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So all these things. अब उसको आप अभी प्रॉब्लम रिकॉग्नाइज ही नहीं करोगे तो फिर उसको प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कैसे करोगे?
Absolutely. And talking of all these problems, I think I just have this one question at the top of my mind where, because most of us, we are healthcare professionals here. So, what do you think that how can we as healthcare professionals do our best to spread awareness related to this particular cause, because it's extremely important and we do see people around us consuming gutka in various forms. So what can we do to spread awareness in and around us, maybe in our communities or in our social settings?
One very simple act that I do when I see a person, or when I'm compelled to actually make a person aware, I just ask them a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you doing this?
Mm-hmm.
What
Right.
exactly are you gaining from it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what's this? Do you know
Mm-hmm.
what are the constituents? Have you ever Googled about this?
Mm-hmm.
एक बार Google, try and Google what exactly is pan masala made of.
Yes.
Like we show, na, cigarette contains benzene. Benzene is a lighter fluid. Cigarette contain alkaloid. Alkaloid is a insecticide. Cigarette contain this. Cigarette contain that. 70 carcinogenic compounds and all those things.
Yes. Yes.
Why can't we ask the consumer to just Google the constituents of pan masala? Know about what you're consuming, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
There was a joke that was being told that people do take gutka, pan masala, and all sorts of nonsense in their mouth, and then they say that Maggi mat khaya karo, usme pesticide hota hai. So they say like this, maida mat khao and all those things, but they are
Right.
consuming these sort of nonsense things. So just
Right.
ask the consumer, do you know exactly each and every detail about it? Don't go by the packaging, don't go by the flavoring. Just Google what it has, what it is. A lot of
Yes.
questions then comes into the consumer's mind. itself, and then
Yes.
they think about it. And
Yes.
that may be the first step that they can take up to that can take them to a cessation clinic.
Right, absolutely. Because a lot of people, they're unaware of the health risks and they are consuming that based on the fact they think that it's like a mouth freshener. So they're consuming it. But we know the harmful effects of it. And as truly mentioned, that if you don't are not aware of something, then they don't even know the health risk of it. So ignorance is totally bliss, I would say, at this point. Yes, Dr. Sakshi, your hand is raised.
I would like to add on to this, like, we have to take a step ahead. I would like to share something.
Yes.
Interact with any guard bhaiya or some
Mm-hmm.
people around are using these all things. So we should, why they are taking, why we should collect these informations and all, like
Right.
directly asking them why they are using this. Sarhesh said they actually are not aware. They are
Yes.
just using, also, like, lower income people are there. They are not aware also. They don't know the ill effects of these. They should be directed towards, more towards, like, why you are eating, how
Mm-hmm.
much you are spending on these things. So
Right.
comparing their life, how their life can get better by comparison, like, you are doing these things, this is impacting you in this way, this is impacting your family. So yes, like, these things also, emotional things can also help them to get aware about this, and with time a single person approach would be a good point added to this. So yes, including more and more people conveying direct information would be the priority also.
Totally, Dr. Sakshi. And
That's all.
sometimes I think a lot of people also see their family members or friends consuming it. So they also in turn start consuming it without even questioning what it is, why they are having it, what are the ill effects of it. So thank you, Dr. Sakshi, for those additional points. I believe Anshika also wants to pitch in. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Bhavya. I hope everyone would have heard about Sarota. Sarota is the
I haven't heard about it. Could you?
instrument used by my what I can say, by my grandfather's generation, that used to cut the areca nut, supari.
Oh, okay.
They used to have a box in which the sarota is the, yes, absolutely right, Dr. Shekhar. And they used to cut the supari with that sarota, and they used to have slake lime and katha and the beetle leaf, everything. They used to have a box that was supposed to be a
Mhm.
luxury at that point of time, without knowing the harmful health effect. And then the trend started. Earlier it was supposed to be like, yes, we are consuming these all things with elaichi and clove, cardamom and clove and misri and all those things. It's a sign of like
Yes.
royalty. Then we used to consume this as a mouth freshener. Every time they used to have a quid, beetle quid, after lunch or after dinner.
Yes.
बिना उसके खाना नहीं complete होता था, without knowing the harmful health effects. And they are
Yeah.
taking it, and also they would have definitely come up with a lower with a problem of opening of their mouth, definitely. That's
Hmm.
how the generation take up this the trend of eating areca nut. Then my father's generation, they have also used it, but at certain point of time we realized that this is not at all going to work, because it has lot of carcinogenic properties, and has a lot of harmful health effects. And it is very sad that I have to inform you that I lost my dad because of that.
So sorry to know that.
So, so what my question is from both the panelists is that kindly throw some light on the cottage industry areca nut produced. What are their harmful health effects? some cottage industries product made by areca nut, use of areca nut. For example, you can take up Dora and other a product which is like locally available region wise.
Yes, sure. Thank you. Thank you, Anshika, for sharing that, and for being so vulnerable and sharing your personal experience. I'm sure a lot of people have also experienced that, and definitely it's something that is a burning issue and that should be put shed light on, because it affects drastically the health of so many people. Any other additional points, Dr. Shekhar, Dr. Sakshi?
Well, rightly pointed out by Anshika, for people who are senior in age in this group, we might remember the Shami Kapoor's ad, बारातियों का स्वागत तो पान पराग, हम चाहते हैं कि बारातियों का स्वागत तो पान पराग से ही हो.
Yes,
Who
yes.
are born after 1990s or in 2000s, they might have not seen it, but 80s and 90s people have seen it well throughout, and we have, kind of like, these are memories for us. So that time, yes, when the health effects were not very published, not very available, that this was regarded as a delicacy, a treat of royalty. All those things were regarded. So, even now, they try to hook up the same thing, मुंह में रजनीगंधा, कंधों में दुनिया, all those things. They
Right.
try to portray it as something very, elite and, very royal thing.
Mhm.
And talking about the cottage industry, which Anshika has asked, well, the reason why cottage industry in any form, not just tobacco or areca nut, in any form, why does cottage industry exist? It exists to bypass the laws. It exists to bypass the taxes. It exists to bypass the uh, the responsibilities of any cottage industry. If I'm making something in my house and selling it on the street, who's going to ask me for GST, or who's going to ask me for tax? The reason why cottage industry exists in any way, in any product, is just to basically bypass the laws. So
Yeah.
lawmakers can only do one thing: find them, and put them under the law-abiding mandate. Okay. So if
Yes.
in fact, I recently, I think 1 or 2 years back, I recently had a camp at along with the CAPED Foundation. CAPED is one of the partners of CHIP Foundation. I was the oral health expert of that camp, in that camp in CAPED organization. We went to a place in North Delhi and we conducted the camp. And the area, the host of the camp where we stationed the vehicle, and Capet stationed the vehicle, and they laid out all the benches and all those. We were examining over there. That was basically a factory, and a factory over there, which was that was a holiday, Sunday being a holiday. So factory open space में we हमने camp लगाया. So I took a break, loo break or washroom break. I took a break, and I just happened to see what exactly this factory is making. That factory was making
Sorry?
hookahs,
Hookahs. Okay. Yes, that's another trend
shishas,
that
the glass hookahs, shishas.
yes, yes.
So that factory was itself the point of a cancer awareness camp. So that cottage industry, that was basically a cottage industry. They were making inside a house and then selling it to a few restaurants to, in a cheaper way. So the only thing that we can do is to inform the policymakers so that they can come, book them under the sub act, fine them, and then make sure that this factory is liable to answer to the GST part, is liable to answer to the laws part, is liable to answer to whatever they are trying to make.
Yes. Rightly pointed out, Dr. Shekhar. Any other thoughts? Any last comments, Dr. Sakshi, from your side?
I would like to include a point like these laws and regulations should be made in a point of view taking consideration removing the harmful effects and more promoting cottage industry which are like transition to other parts of the plants of areca nut like leaves which are used for making plates. There are many economic items which can be used. So going towards just not only using supari and all flavored pan, tobacco, leaf plates, bowls, like beautiful containers. We can be more eco-friendly also. Handcrafted items, people are much more liking these days. So we should
Mhm.
provide the people, villagers, more options like this, that they can have a transition to this thing, considering their role also, their incomes and all also. So not just ruling out that it should be removed, we should consider more with the other products like husk fiber from Areca, organic fertilizers are there. So these all things can also be taken into consideration.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing those thoughts, Dr. Sakshi. Do we have any questions for the panelists? Anyone wants to ask a question, they can either raise their hands or, as I mentioned before, can put them in the chat box. Anyone? Okay, so no further questions. We'll move forward with the closing remarks. So, thank you, panelists, for this wonderful discussion, Dr. Shekhar and Dr. Sakshi. To both of you, thank you for sharing your thoughts. The panel discussion, organized by CHIP Foundation in collaboration with Eco India, highlighted the growing health burden associated with tobacco and areca nut consumption, particularly in low resource and settings and with youth populations. Experts discuss the link between areca nut use and oral cancers, addiction pathways, and the socio-cultural factors driving its widespread use. Emphasis was placed on prevention through education and policy enforcement, integrating screening into primary healthcare. The session concluded with a call for stronger multi-sectoral collaboration to curb this public health challenge. I would like to thank you all, our esteemed speakers and participants, for such an enlightful and engaging session today. Today's dialogue highlighted the serious health risk of tobacco and areca nut use and the need for collective, evidence-based action. We hope this session inspires further learning, community outreach, and policy advocacy. Let's continue to work together to reduce harm and promote health equity. Thank you again, and we look forward to your continued engagement in future sessions. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thank you, Bhavya.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
everyone.
much.
Thank you, Sakshi.
Thank you, Dr. Bhagat. Thank you, Dr. Shekhar.
Thank you.